Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? We're so glad to have you and glad that you can join us. So today we're going to be having Miss Katie with us. Some of you guys may recognize Miss Katie. If you recognize Miss Katie, can you please snap twice in the comment section, please, or in the chat box, please? For those of you that recognize Miss Katie. So yeah, so she's been with Sounds Academy for a little bit here, and she's been doing a wonderful job with our cellists. So some of you guys have had her as a teacher even, so I'm glad that she gets to talk about some of the other things that she does when it comes to playing the cello. So I'm gonna make sure that my video's on here. Here we go. All right, glad to see you guys here. So Miss Katie started playing the cello when she was 6 years old. And she was lucky to grow up in a public school system in Michigan that prioritized its music program. She went on to study at the University of Notre Dame, where she double majored in philosophy and music and studied cello with Karen Buranskas. Katie's love of the humanities led her to accept a position teaching U.S. history at a charter school in Phoenix, where she also found the school's first orchestra program. So in addition to her classical training, she is also experienced with folk and bluegrass music, which is what we're going to be doing today. So she plays with a band called Cisco and the Race Cars. So that music that you were hearing was actually Miss Katie playing with her band at a festival in Flagstaff, I believe. Is that right, Miss Katie?
Sounded like that one, yeah.
Yeah, so she performs at festivals around the state, and she actually came back from Ukraine where they did a second musical diplomacy. So you guys are really lucky today where you guys get to work with Miss Katie in some fiddling. So I hope you guys have your instruments because we're gonna get to hear some of you guys play as well. So I'm gonna turn it over to Miss Katie.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kirk, and good to see so many of you guys out there. We're gonna have fun today. So the topic of this class is taking breaks, which is another way of saying improvising, specifically in fiddle and bluegrass music. And as Mr. Kirk mentioned, I play in a bluegrass band here in Phoenix called Cisco and the Race Cars. And so playing this type of music for me has been really life-changing. I love playing classical, but I feel like this type of music helped me to become more creative and confident, not just as a musician, but as a person too. So I'm really excited to share it with all of you guys. So I would love to just get a feel for who's in here. I do see some familiar names, but if you could just add to the chat your instrument and a piece you are currently working on. Oh, actually, we have a poll. So if you could answer this poll and just say the instrument that you play, that would be really awesome. Just so we can get a feel for that. All right, cool. So we've got some cellists, some violinists, a piano player. And if there's anyone out there who didn't vote, or if you don't play any instrument, that's totally fine too. You can still participate. So a lot of string players, that's awesome. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about what bluegrass music is. If you're like me, you didn't necessarily know much about it. I didn't know much about it before I started playing it. So let me just share my screen here. So bluegrass music has a very rich history, and it is one of the few forms of music that was developed entirely in America, but its influences come from all over the world. So bluegrass music was developed in the 1940s in a part of the country called the Appalachia region. Appalachia is in the Appalachian Mountains, so the southeast part of the country, West Virginia, North Carolina, that area. And so in this part of the country, there were a lot of different cultures coming together along with their music. So one really big influence were the Scottish and Irish immigrants who came over to that part of the country and brought their music, which sounded something like this. So if you're familiar with Irish fiddle tunes, I love them, but that's just a little snippet of a piece called Morrison's Jig. So along with that, we also had a lot of different religious groups in the Appalachia region, and they brought their gospel music and hymns. Here's one of my very favorite songs. It's actually a sad hymn, but it's called Wayfaring Stranger. So religious music was a big factor in the development of bluegrass music. Another really big influence comes from the dark chapter of American history that is slavery. The enslaved people brought music from Africa and also created a lot of music in America, a lot of which was spiritual music and religious music. And one really famous spiritual is Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. So we had all of these different musical traditions coming together in this part of the country. And so the traditional instrumentation that played this folk music was fiddle, which is just a fancy way to say violin, which you can see in this picture here. You had the banjo, the mandolin, the guitar, and the stand-up bass. And today, lots of instruments play bluegrass, including cello, obviously. I even heard a saxophone player playing some fiddle tunes recently, which was amazing. So it's definitely open to everyone. But this is sort of how it started. And there was a band back in the 40s called Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys who made this type of music really popular. The banjo player Earl Scruggs had this new fast way of playing banjo that people really loved. And so bluegrass music was sort of named after this group in their honor, even though the influences go back much further. That's a very brief history of bluegrass. As I said, bluegrass today is pretty diverse. Lots of different people play it. Just highlighting a few of my favorite bands here that of course include cellos. So on the left, we have a band called Crooked Still that's been really influential to me. We have the Carolina Chocolate Drops, another incredible band. And then the little boy on the bottom is from a local music group called Jam Pack, which is a kids bluegrass band. And if you are interested in this music, I encourage you to check them out. They're here in Phoenix. So, as I said, this music is really welcoming, and it's all about community. And that's part of why I love it so much. So just to give you guys a bit more of an idea of what this music sounds like, I'm going to invite a special guest to come and play a tune with me. So, special guest. So this special guest is, oh, not the dog, person, is my bandmate, also my husband named Chester. He plays mandolin and sings in our band. And so we're gonna play a fiddle tune for you called Torqued Deer. So we're each gonna play the tune once, and then we're each gonna take a turn taking a break or improvising our own melody, and then we're gonna end by playing the tune together. And that's a really common way to perform a fiddle tune. And then after we're done playing, just gonna ask you guys what you noticed about this style of music, maybe how it's similar to or different from the music that you're used to playing in your setting. Ready? Thanks, special guest. All right, always break some little hairs there. So I would love to hear, oh, sorry if we had some sound issues, but if you could hear any characteristics of this style of music that you notice, so you can just add it to the chat. There's no right or wrong answer, it's just anything that stuck out to you about bluegrass music. Has a cool rhythm. Yeah, it's definitely rhythm is very important, especially in the string section. So we do a thing called chopping with fiddles and cellos, which is that kind of whack your bow a bit more than you normally would, but it creates that rhythmic sound that sort of imitates a guitar. Some other things that to me make bluegrass a little bit different are the fact that you're making up some music of your own, you're improvising. A lot of the tunes are pretty fast, which is not necessarily different than other styles, but it makes it very fun. And so as we dive into what it means to take a break and learn a fiddle tune, you guys will probably learn even more and notice even more things that make bluegrass music. So now I'm going to just talk a little bit about taking breaks. So in bluegrass music, you always play from memory. There's really no sheet music, and that can make it a little intimidating, but it's also a lot of fun. And once you learn the fiddle tune, you make up your own part. And that's what we're going to do today. And traditionally, when you play this music, everyone's sitting in a circle called a jam circle, and it could be outside around a campfire, it could be at somebody's house, and basically we did what Chester and I just did, which is everyone takes a turn playing the tune, and then if you want to, take a break, and we go all around. And so it's positive and supportive and just really about building community. So now I have a question for you guys. I would like to know, and I think we have another poll for this. Have you ever made up your own music? Have you ever written your own music? Yeah, yes in the chat. You know. I see a lot of yeses. That's awesome. Well, I will say a little bit before you guys are way ahead of me. So before I had played bluegrass music, I hadn't really ever made up my own music. But I learned to in order to take breaks. And the thing about taking breaks, the other thing about this is if you haven't written your own music, that's totally fine. I bet you have made up your own sentence before. And really, writing music, making up your own music, is very similar to making up a sentence because you have all the pieces you need. You have the notes, you have the techniques, and then you just sort of put them together. You take together the different pieces of language, in this case the notes, and create something. So there's no like secret trick. If you can play your instrument a little bit, then you can write your own music. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about how that works. Share this again. So when we improvise music, just a few important tips to think about. The first is to smile and be confident. As I mentioned, I know it can be a little intimidating to make up something on the spot, but the great thing about that is you're the composer. So whatever you decide is the right note is the right note. No one else gets to decide. And I know that Mr. Kirk talks about this too with practicing, right? For performing your solos. If you forget a note, you can just make one up. You can just keep playing, and the same holds true with improvising. If you get stuck, just keep going, don't stop. You'll figure it out. So smile and be confident and just be ready to try some new things. The next tip I have is to use the tune itself, which we'll learn in just a second. Use the tune as a skeleton to build on. So you don't have to create something from scratch. You can use what's already there and then just embellish it, add notes here and there, change the rhythm, and get creative and get comfortable. So that's a really useful tip. Also think about the scale. So we're going to learn a song in just a second called Boil Them Cabbage Down in D major. So we'll use the notes of the D major scale when we improvise. And so in that case, it would be D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, C sharp. So we'll get back to that in a moment. Another thing you can do is to play the open string above what you're playing as a double stop. So you probably heard me doing that. It's a very common sound in fiddle music. You can do that as much or as little as you want, but it kind of creates a nice drone effect. And then the last tip I have is just to try out new rhythms. So you can play the tune as is, and you can just add some different rhythms, eighth notes, quarter notes, twinkle rhythms, down wiggle, up wiggle, really just whatever you want. You can throw in some new rhythms. And finally, smile and be confident. We have to start and end with that because that's the most important thing. If you're not having fun, then you're not, you know, what's the point? It's all just supposed to be fun. Okay, so now I'm going to teach you guys this tune called Boil Them Cabbage Down. And it's short because we want to spend most of our time improvising on this. So I know we have mostly string players here, so you would play this on the D string. You don't have to, but that's the easiest way to do it. Start on the D string on your F sharp. Piano player, I'll let you choose which F sharp you choose. But this song sounds like this. I'll go ahead and do the repeat. Okay, so I would love for you guys at home to play this along with me if you have your instrument. If you don't have an instrument or you don't play an instrument, you can do percussion. You can always do percussion on a surface. You can hum along. You can still make music, but if you do have your instrument, go ahead and grab that. And I'm just going to play this through twice. So I'll play this through twice and you guys play along with me, and then we'll talk a bit more about improvising. For now, let's just do the tune. I'll count us off. 1, 2, ready, go. Let's do it one more time together. That was once because I did the repeat, and then we'll improvise. Just the tune. 1, 2, ready, go. That's the basic tune. So remember our tips. You can use that as your skeleton and then add stuff or change stuff to it. So let's now think about taking a break. For break number 1, we're going to do 3 different breaks here. And I would love to have volunteers after each to share what you played with the group. So I'll ask for some volunteers, and please be brave and play with us because it's so much fun to hear each other play. For this first round, let's just use the notes D, E, F sharp, and G. just to, start off and get comfortable improvising. So I'm gonna play the tune again, and I want you guys to improvise along with me at home. So for example, you could improvise something like this. I'm just gonna use the notes D, E, F sharp, and G. So hopefully you could still hear the tune in there. I just use that as my skeleton and then added to it. And remember, there's no right or wrong. You're just gonna try some stuff out. So I'll play the tune, you play your improvisation. I'm just gonna check the chat real quick. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, cool, I see thumbs up, that's helpful, thanks guys. All right, I'll count us off. You guys improvise with D, E, F sharp, and G. 1, 2, ready, go. All right. Would anybody like to volunteer to share their break with us? You can indicate that in the chat, and I think Mr. Kirk can help us. Anybody feeling brave? You guys want another round to practice with first? Oh, we might have somebody. Let's see, Juan. If you can unmute yourself and show your video, that would be really awesome. You there, Juan? There should be a little thing in the lower corner. If you scroll down, that's like a video camera. If you can't figure it out, that's okay. The sound is the most important part. Uh-oh, did we lose him?
We may have, oh, there he goes.
He's back. Are you there, Juan? There he is. Thank you so much for volunteering. I really appreciate that.
Let me see if I understand. You said to play along with you, or just to choose random notes of D, E, and F sharp and G?
Right, so I would love to hear your improvised tune. So I'm not gonna play along with you right now because it'll mess up the sound, but if you can just play us your own version of that tune using those 4 notes, that would be really awesome. And you can, play around with it, just try to make something up using those 4 notes. Very nice.
Wait, did I play 3 lines or 4?
You know what? You decide. That's the beauty of this. You can do whatever you want. So just try it one more time and try a different rhythm. Like, you don't have to stick to that rhythm. You can do whatever you want. Change up the order of the notes. Very nice. Got to give you snaps for that one. So, because I have you here, can I ask you, is it hard to play without having music in front of you? Like, is it hard to just sort of try to make something up, or how do you feel when you do that?
Well, when I play in concerts and I just mess up, I don't really just improvise. I just try to find myself back. But I don't think it's that hard. It seems pretty easy.
Good, yeah. Trying to make it not hard. So that was awesome. Thank you for being our first volunteer. Do we have maybe one more volunteer to share their improvisation with those 4 notes? No right or wrong, just whatever you're feeling. How about this? Why don't we do another round, and then maybe someone else will volunteer. Oh, we have Callie. Awesome. Oh no, she disappeared.
She'll be back. It just takes she has to go to the other side. So there's 2 sides to this.
Oh, there she is. And if you guys are still with your instruments, which I hope you are, you can still be practicing and messing around with your break as we set up our volunteers. All right, Miss Callie, are you there? While we're waiting for her to get set up, let's do one more round with this. So I'll play the tune. You play whatever you want with those notes, okay? I'll count us up. 1, 2, ready, go. All right, I see a couple of people. I see Angie and Callie. Either one of you guys able to share your break with us? I see Kelly. Can you make sure your sound is on? There we go.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, it's Kalea. What a nice surprise. All right, Miss Kalea, can we hear your break?
Okay.
So anything you want using D, E, F sharp, and G. Yes, awesome. 2 snaps for Kalea. Thank you so much. I could hear how you were using the rhythm and adding some new notes. That was super cool. All right. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for volunteering. It takes courage to volunteer and share your break. So I thank you guys for doing that. Let's do another one, and this time we're going to add some new notes. So now we're going to use the whole D major scale. We're going to use D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, and C sharp. Or I should say, you can use any of those notes. You don't have to use all of them at all. You can use a few, you can use all of them. So I'll demonstrate a possible break. So if I was going to play a break with those notes, I might do something like this. So again, I was trying to use the tune as my skeleton and then just kind of play around with some other notes, throw them in as ornaments and decoration. So I think we have a couple more folks, Mirna and Jenna. Can have one of you guys share, that would be awesome. You're welcome to use the, oh, we haven't done our break yet. Sorry, I just demonstrated. So now I'm gonna play the tune. I'll play the tune and then you guys do a break on your own using any of those notes, okay? 1, 2, ready, go. Right, I hope you got to try some new things for that break. Do I see Mirna? Hi there. So what instrument do you have, Mirna?
Piano.
Awesome, we get to hear a piano. Okay, so
It's Janelle. My mom's name is Myrna.
you're Janelle, I'm sorry. Hi, Janelle. So yeah, why don't you just have fun taking a break in D major? Any of those notes are yours to work with. Nice, I like that last D. That was awesome, Janelle. Hey, can I ask you, what were you thinking about while you were doing that? Were you thinking about something, or were you just going with the flow and sort of letting your hands wander?
Just going with the flow.
Going with the flow. I'm always really curious because different people have different ways of doing it. So going with the flow is always great. Thank you so much for volunteering. That was awesome.
And Janelle also had a question for you about writing her own music.
Welcome.
Would you like to ask her, Janelle?
Sorry, what did you say? You broke up.
I said, would you like to ask her your question that you had put in the Q&A about writing music?
Do you write like do you write the notes, or how do you like do it?
Yeah, so the things I just demonstrated, I was kind of like you, I was going with the flow. So I know the tune, and then as I'm playing, I kind of just have ideas that I'll add in. And I'll say it takes me, it takes practice to get comfortable with that, but I think it really comes down to just knowing like, what are the notes in this key? And then I'll just sort of like do what I feel in the moment. When I'm performing, I'll usually have something worked out beforehand. So I might like alter it a little bit when I'm playing, but I like to have, and I think a lot of bluegrass musicians do that. They have something prepared that they have come up with earlier, and then they'll play it rather than trying to come up with it on the spot in the performance, because I don't know about you, but I get a little nervous in performances, so I kind of like to have something prepared beforehand. But what you just did is essentially what I do, just doing it a lot and getting comfortable with it. So yeah, thanks for that question.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I think we have another volunteer here.
I think you can hear Castillo. Can you say hello?
Hi.
There you go.
Hello, Avery.
So, I would like to play, but it was an accident. I accidentally put that because I don't have my instrument with me right now.
Okay, no worries. Well, you could still do you maybe just want to clap us some rhythms, because here's the thing. The tune we just did was all quarter and half notes, right? So if you were gonna play something, what's your instrument?
Piano.
Piano, perfect. There's a lot of percussion there. Could you just like clap us the rhythm of what you might have played on your piano?
That's played
Nice.
once.
What was that?
That was played once.
Do you want to do one more?
No, thanks.
That was great. I heard a lot of 16th and 8th notes.
Didn't have that.
No, that was great. So then when you have your piano, did you say you didn't go yet?
What? I did.
Okay, I thought you said you didn't. Yeah, I heard the 8th note, so that was great. So then when you get to your piano, you can use that rhythm and just add in the notes, right?
Mhm.
Very cool. Thank you for volunteering. Snap, snap for you. And do we have one more? Do we have Jenna?
She might be having technical difficulties.
Okay.
Keep going.
Well, while we get Jenna set up, let's do our last one. So this is actually perfect that we had Avery do that, because the third break was going to be try some new rhythms. So you can still use any of those notes. But if you were sticking to this rhythm, try to do what Avery did and maybe add some 8ths or 16ths. And again, it could be any rhythm you want. I think I put some ideas here. They're in little bubbles because they're just ideas. You could do some bum, 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 or bum, 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 bum. Really, just anything that you haven't tried before. So let's try that together. I'll play the tune and you guys try some new rhythms. 1, 2, ready, go. Great. And let's do, I see we have some more volunteers here. Let's do one final round while they're getting set up. So practice or try anything that you want. You could try to recreate a break you did earlier. You could try some new stuff. Just put it all together and remember to have fun. So let's do it one more time together. 1, 2, ready, go. I see Aiden there. Aiden gonna. On for a second. Another thing you can do, guys, while you're, to practice improvising, you don't even have to have a tune to work on. It can be nice. I like having a tune and trying to improvise on that, but you could just improvise based on what you're feeling. So if I was feeling kind of maybe sad, a little bit low, I read a really sad book yesterday, so I was feeling a little sad. I would try to put that into cello sounds, maybe something like this. Because for me, the low strings really help me to get out those darker emotions. Or maybe if I was really happy and really energetic, I would try playing something fast. Again, no particular song in mind, just figuring out some notes that reflect what I'm feeling. So maybe something like this. So that's a great thing you guys can do. You don't need music in front of you to practice. And I think there are a lot of benefits to just playing what you're feeling, even if you don't really know where it's going. And I'll say that there are a lot of times when I'm taking a break, and sometimes I like what I play, and other times I'm like, oh man, that sounded a little weird, but I always learn something from it, and it is always the feeling of being creative, I think, is a really important one. So just give it a shot. Oh, I think we have Aiden. I see something. See if you can unmute yourself as well. Let's see. Are you there, Aiden? Oh. Thanks for your patience, everyone. This is a lot of work on Mr. Kirk's end, so thank you so much, Mr. Kirk, for helping us get all these volunteers on screen. It's awesome. Mr. Kirk, do we know who is on deck right now?
We seem to have 3 people on deck. Maybe I have the wrong.
Okay. I see Aiden's video. I just don't see him or hear him. But anybody can go next. Abraham, are you there? Oh, I think Aiden is unmuted. Aiden, are you there?
Yes.
Hi. Do you have your cello?
Yeah.
Do you want to play a break for us?
Yeah.
Great. So you're just gonna play something, anything you want, using the notes in the D scale, D major, and there's no right or wrong, right? So just play us whatever's on your mind.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Oh, now I do.
Okay. So do you have your cello?
Yeah.
All right. So using those notes in the D major scale, and thinking about the tune we played, but you know, you don't have to use that if you don't want. Just play us something. Just put some notes together and see what happens.
So do I just do it randomly?
Try that, yeah. All right, Aiden, nice work. And you started and ended on a D, so it was definitely in D major. Was that difficult? No. Good. I think it can be intimidating to just, when someone says, just play something, but then you know the notes, so it's not so bad. Thank you so much. Okay, we have a few minutes left. I do have another tune. So why don't we try another tune? Oh, I will not do the other tune because we probably don't have enough time for that. But the major things I want you guys to remember. Let me just pull up that slide again. Are that this style of music may be different, but it's really, really great to be creative. And that's why I love this style of music so much. So our tips that we'll just review real quick are to have fun, be confident, and smile. That's the most important tip. And then once you learn a tune, using that tune as a skeleton and building off of it, using the notes in the scale of the song. You can use some double stops with the string above the tune that the string you're playing on, trying some different rhythms, and again, just having fun and being confident. So at the end, I'll put up a slide with a couple of resources that have fiddle tunes if you're interested in learning more. There are some really great books to help you out. There are also, so I'll put up just some of my favorite bands. If you like listening to this type of music, then I encourage you to check out some of these bands that have really inspired me. But to close, I'm going to just invite my special guests back and we'll play one short tune for you guys. And hopefully the sound is okay for this one, but special guest. So the tune we're gonna play is called New Camptown Races. And it's a fun one. I'm sorry, right? Okay. Is that annoying? All right, here we go. Here's New Camptown Races. Thanks, special guest. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for participating and being brave and volunteering to play with us. So if you guys have any last questions, I'm happy to answer those. And in the meantime, I will also just share, as I mentioned, those books that are helpful for learning this type of music, as well as my favorite bands.
So looks like you've answered all questions. And then also, thank you. Can I get 2 snaps for Miss Katie, everyone, in the chat section? So really appreciate everything that you did, Miss Katie. And then also what I'm gonna do for all of our attendees, as usual, I like to hear your feedback, hear how you liked the session, what parts did you like, what parts should we keep going? So I've put a link inside of the chat so that you can just click on that and it'll bring you straight to the survey that we have for that. And then a little secret for some of you guys that don't know, I started a music program in Indiana a while ago. I was in my grad school years of college, and that music program that I started was actually a fiddling music program. And so I got to learn a lot about fiddling. And so I think what Miss Katie does and Cisco and the race car does is very, very cool. So 2 snaps for me for that.
That's awesome. I didn't know that, Mr. Kirk. That's really cool.
And then someone would like you to answer, can bluegrass be played on the piano?
Absolutely. So in the old days, there were traditional instruments for bluegrass, and a lot of bands still use those instruments, the ones I mentioned at the beginning. So guitar, banjo, fiddle, mandolin, and bass. But there are so many bands with different instruments playing, and I have heard pianos playing bluegrass music. I've heard wind instruments, harmonica, accordion. So really any instrument, because the music is accessible to everyone. So as long as you can learn the tune, which I'm sure you can, then yes, I would love to hear more bluegrass piano. So I encourage you to do that.
Excellent. And then there's one more question we have. Oh, nope, she said awesome. So, yeah. So awesome is the last comment that we have in here.
I like that. Good note to end on.
So yes, check out these favorite artists and these helpful books as well. And then I hope to see some of you guys fiddling a lot more, and it really helps in just learning how to hear music and all of that. So thank you guys once again. And I look forward, we're gonna take the week off next week, but we're gonna have some great panel discussions the following week about different careers you can have in music, and then even people that played music, but they did not do this as their career when they grew up. So Miss Katie mentioned she also taught history in a school. So yes, she plays in a band, but she also teaches history. So if you have a passion to teach, for example, you can play music and still teach. So thank you guys once again, and I look forward to seeing you guys in a few weeks.